All right. Illini Basketball Podcast, episode 152, March 3rd, 2023. Illinois coming off of a victorious victory in double overtime against Michigan. Third straight senior night game that has been off the chain in terms of the closeness and coming down to the wire. This one actually going to overtime. The previous two against Iowa did not go to overtime. So I'm trying to remember last year. Okay, so last year they played Iowa senior night. The year before that it was Nebraska, so nobody cares about that. And then last three senior night games against teams that are relevant.
Yeah, they ended up pulling this one out. Had a 9-point lead, couldn't put them away, even though Michigan had one timeout. Gave up a 10-0 run. Buffkin, of course, hits back-to-back threes because Illinois loves doing that for people. There was that stretch with the goaltendings that was kind of Dickinson might have had one. Coleman definitely didn't goaltend.
RJ basket interference.
RJ basket interference wasn't called. Yeah. And then you're up 7 with like 2:30 left, and you go Meyer ISO, TJ ISO, and then Jet hits a 3 because Meyer doesn't close out on him, or he tries to guard somebody trying to get a 2. Just lucky that Michigan missed some shots down the stretch, and Illinois pulled it off. So, Jay, what's going on? How you doing today? Crypto, what's up? How are you guys? Big Illinois win, so hope you all are having a good day. It stopped snowing here in Central Illinois, so that's good.
It's annoying as hell.
Yeah. Jay says zebras were god awful. Game should have never went to overtime. Yeah, they're bad. It always evens itself out.
3 top 25 guys on Ken Bomb.
Yeah.
Roger Ayers is 6th. Our guy Larry Shirato is 18th, and DJ Carson's is 24th.
Smug little guy, isn't he? Sorry.
Yep. I mean, you're right. Nobody cares about him. Speaking of which, if you look at the Missouri Valley tournament right now, the coach for Indiana State, Jesus, that guy's short. Anyway, not there's anything wrong with that. Just an observation. This game was 2 hours and 38 minutes long, so
yeah,
not bad. And how do I interpret this information? Question mark. Last updated March 2nd, 9:50 p.m. EST. I'm reading the very bottom of the Ken Palm box score for everybody here, since I already named the refs and the rankings and the length of the game. Finish it off.
Yeah.
All
right. How about players of the game? How's that sound?
Yeah, your pick's ridiculous.
I'm going with Matthew Meyer. What do you mean ridiculous? You picked him like 64 times this year.
I picked him when he actually earns it. He wasn't that good.
How did he not earn it? 39 minutes. He is 8 for 20, 4 of 11 from 3, right around his 36%, 4 of 7 from the line, 24 points, 7 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block, no turnovers for Matthew Meyer. He hit a big 3 to start the second overtime. He actually took every shot in the second overtime, except for the last one where TJ took that 3, ended up getting his own rebound, and then sealing it with some free throws, I think. Is that what happened? I don't know. I know this game was over 6 beers long. That's all I know. So.
Yeah. Meyer probably gave up 25 points on the defensive end. Let's be honest.
He may have. I'm still not a big fan of the ISO ball. Like I said, it was basically Meyer, Shannon, whoever was going. I felt like Shannon did a better job of dumping off.
Well, Brad very notably said in the post game that was a great pass by Shannon when he passed it to when he was driving, kicked it out to Meyer. Meyer was wide open. I can't believe he missed that.
Yeah, he missed 3 threes in overtime. The last one being wide open. It was literally just give Matthew Meyer the ball, and that's all we're gonna do. So, but he did stop the 10-0 run that Michigan went on late in the game. He went one-on-one with Dickinson and got to the basket, made it, and then of course got fouled on that 3-point attempt, and he actually made all 3 threes.
Called for a flop.
He was called for a flop on one too.
Yep.
So probably could have been called for it multiple times, but
the biggest flop of the game was Dickinson, and it wasn't called.
That's true. It was actually called a foul on Hawkins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did put please stop saying you're the best defender because the one time you let Jet go straight to the basket and dunk it. And then the other one was late in the game, let Jet hit that three because he decided to go cover a guy that was going for a layup. And, 2 points when you're up three is a lot better than 3 points when you're up three, if I had to guess.
And I think Underwood noted that in the post game.
I think he did talk about it, yes. Jay said RJ seems to be turning it around. Driving to the basket is the key for him and pretty much everyone on this squad. Yeah, that was a big emphasis this game. You could tell. I think Illinois only took 18 threes.
Yep. RJ had the highest
11 of them.
RJ had the highest offensive rating on the team last night.
Bergie says, oh no, for some reason. I don't know. Maybe because I picked Meyer. Sure. Zach says, loved everything about Ty's play last night, but not putting up the last second shot is disqualifying as a pod candidate. I don't know. I mean, I maybe thought there was an extra second freshman mistake. If Ty shoots that from 20 feet, it probably flies into the stands.
Yeah, I mean,
so, also, there's no doubt in my mind that this whole Monster Energy thing was just to get an NIL deal. He literally posed with two of them. He had them sitting there in the post game. Matt said, quote, no monsters today, still in recovery. It's a great product. You just need to drink it responsibly. They DM'd me after the game and commented on my post. And a big one to this is Underwood said, quote, he didn't tell me that it was caffeine poisoning. I knew he was sick and didn't feel well, but it's kind of hard to make some of that stuff up. I just said, why? And then he said, he's interesting. So, didn't even tell the coach that he had caffeine poisoning. But that's
Brad could not deal with this for 4 years.
Yeah. I mean, Meyer, like I said, I gave him the player of the game because of his play in the second overtime. Basically, carried Illinois to victory there.
This last quote is BS.
Yeah, I knew you. I only put this in because I knew you'd enjoy it so much. Matt said, quote, tonight was one of the best environments I've been in. Illinois has one of the best fan bases I've ever seen. It's probably unparalleled. I feel very blessed to play in this building for so many games.
That's great, but I feel like at this point, I think the orange captivates people. I really do. The color orange, how much of it is around, I think it's a captivating color.
Yeah. And my big thing is when Illinois was going on that run, that was some of the best basketball we've seen Illinois play. And it's like Michigan makes one basket and everybody just sits down. You, as fans, you gotta be up and in that spot to put a team away that has no time, that has one timeout left. They're not going to use it. They can't use it.
Seemed like the side of the building that didn't have the orange crush on it was the ones getting into the game late.
Yeah. I mean, sure.
Well, the lady who sits front row on the other side was turning around.
She was the one getting them up. I agree. I mean,
wasn't that bitch? It wasn't that bitch Kilton and his crew. That guy's a bitch.
Going hard at him.
We'll go at him later, but that guy is a bitch. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody thinks about the term bitch. I think that guy's a bitch. I don't know if anybody else agrees. If you see what you see on Twitter, I don't think the comments on my end are popping up right now. So I don't know what anybody's saying on YouTube, but that guy,
I don't see anything. Nobody's saying anything.
Okay. Cause I think the Bergie and Zach Hinkle comments showed up real late for me from when you got them.
Yeah. That's all right. You're player of the game.
I've wanted to give it to Ty Rodgers in certain games and I haven't. So I think this is a good game to do it. 33 minutes, quite a few minutes. I don't know where that ranks in terms of his most minutes of the season. I would think it's up there because I usually have this pulled up, but I printed my information for today's episode really just to a little bit more professionalism.
His most minutes before that was Northwestern with 30 minutes. He played 28 against Ohio State and 33 against. So the last three he's played 30, 28, 33. Played 17 against Minnesota, and then he was 27 and 26 against Indiana and Penn State. So, Ty Rodgers is going to play 25 plus minutes a game from here on out. No doubt in my mind.
6 for 9 from the field, 2 for 3 from the free throw line. Don't let him get hot at the line. I think he's what, 5 for 7? No.
Yeah.
Yeah? No.
That one he missed was brutal. But
5 for 8? Yeah. No. 4 for 7. 2 for 4 last game, 2 for 3 this game.
Yep.
Jesus, that took a long time.
4 for 7.
14 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block, 2 turnovers. Point God. I know they say that about CP3, but Ty Rodgers, point God. Let him do it.
Creeping up to 40% from the line. He's at 37.9. So
here we go.
He's getting there. Yeah. Ty was Ty. He does everything. Got to play the point, which, people have questioned. I questioned it at the beginning of the season. I will never question it again. The way he can get to the paint, control the game that way is really nice. Meyer said of Ty, he said, quote, "Ty's been huge. Everybody knows he is a great rebounder. He had 5 offensive rebounds tonight out of 7. He is a selfless rebounder. He will let other guys get defensive rebounds, and he's fighting after extra possessions for us. He is the definition of a team player, plus 16, which was by far the highest. His impact is huge, and everybody knows it." So
that's right. Yeah, nice try. I love those people in the Facebook group earlier in the season be like, "Well, Ty Rodgers doesn't even do anything."
Yeah, the way he's come on this second half of the season has been really impressive.
I think it was actually directly after people were saying that on Facebook, and then his mom left that Facebook group, and then I think that was right before the Nebraska game, the first Nebraska game, where he had a great game, and ever since then it's been okay. Here we go, yeah. And I don't really, I would actually say I hate the idea of Illinois having a starting lineup with no point guard. I don't know, like, can you get away with that every time? I don't know. Like, you're starting what? 3 wings, a point forward, and a center. It doesn't really make any sense to me. I think that what makes more sense is swapping Ty in for Dane Danger, if you want to go that route, which they won't Sunday, or swapping RJ out for Ty Rodgers. And I think a huge key, and we'll get to this later on Sunday, will be, what are you going to get from Dane, and is Coleman going to have to guard the center again, which I think he will, and I think that it's probably better that way, because I think Ant Wright said this on Twitter last night, or I heard him say somewhere, like, Coleman Hawkins is a way smarter defender than Dane Danger. Like, it's not even close. So,
well, he doesn't. I mean, it doesn't slide. Like, 2 of Dane's 3 fouls were slapping at the ball.
So stupid.
On Matthew Meyer, I don't delve into people's like backstories or whatever. Why weren't his parents at senior night?
I don't know.
They already went to one. I don't know. Underwood said of Ty, he said, quote, "Ty's really good and he can guard multiple positions. He's a great screener. He's a great cutter. 2 things that nobody else does on the team. So it's nice to see him doing that. To go along with his rebounding and his passing, trying to get him in dribble up post-ups and post-ups. I love him coming off ball screens because he's such a good passer. He's always under control. He never gets sped up." I don't know about that, but it seems like when he has the ball, he's not as sped up as he is on defense. So I understand. He has been really, really good. Really, really good. I feel really good about him coming off of our bench. So do not expect Ty Rodgers in the starting lineup.
Stupid.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
No, it's not.
Okay.
What I have a problem with is not starting a point guard. And then you start a completely worthless guy at the 5 right now, which is what Dane is. He had a good start to this game, but then didn't give me anything.
So would you rather have Ty start over Dane? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what I said like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, I was looking up Matthew Meyer's parents. So
yeah.
My bad. All right. Coleman Hawkins.
Somebody should ask Matthew himself.
We did not give Coleman Hawkins the player of the game, but I think Brad Underwood would have if he could have. 49 minutes, 3 of 9 from the field, missed his only free throw, 6 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 1 turnover. So in 49 minutes, 1 turnover. I will take that from Coleman Hawkins. Also, the fact that he didn't shoot a 3, I will take that from Coleman Hawkins. I think that Brad has maybe said, okay, these guys can shoot 3s, nobody else can. It seems like it.
4 guys took threes last night.
Yeah, right out the gate, Coleman tried to take a step back that he airballed. He also had that weird baby hook thing. So offensively, he wasn't spectacular. Where he did shine was the defense, especially down the stretch. Had a big stop against Dickinson to go into overtime. And Dickinson got 31 points and 16 rebounds. But the way that Coleman played to force him to make for Dickinson to go left so hard was huge down the stretch. And like you said, Ant Wright said, he's just a very high IQ player. Underwood's talked about it all year. When you hear Coleman talk, you can tell that he's a high IQ player. And he's a guy that, he will read scouting reports. There was one play where he was mad at Sincere because Coleman missed the shot, and Sincere, I think Ty Rodgers tried to save it to Sincere, and then Coleman was mad at the other guys. I don't know what that's all about. Drives me nuts, but
yeah, it's great. Dickinson, I would hope, could get 30 points in 45 minutes when they're going to him that much. So I don't think it's a surprise. Also, he was only 2 away from his career high, I believe. Almost had it. Almost had a few career high guys because Buffkin had 23. I think his career high was like 28, and it was against Wisconsin. So 2 guys got close. But it was a very hard have to work for 31 and 16 for Dickinson.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's what Coleman played hard on him. Bergie said Brad doesn't realize Matt is a little out there. No, I think he realizes it. Flag Boy, what's going on? He says Matt has no parents. He's an AI experiment.
Could be.
ACG, what's going on? Ty Rodgers and Sincere Harris make me want to run through a brick wall. They definitely bring the energy. I think the whole team had energy this game, though. He also says loved how RJ played as well. And that wasn't goaltending. Jay says if Rodgers develops a jump shot, hello NBA draft. Yeah, that's great. Moving on.
I mean, he's right. I think the most important year 1 to year 2 development for any player on this team will be Ty Rodgers. I think he'll probably start next year, depending on what they get in the backcourt.
Yeah,
I think he could probably start 1 through 3 anyway, maybe even 1 through 4.
Yeah, I definitely think that he starts. And I think if Sincere can develop a better 3-point shot, Illinois is going to be fun to watch with these guys. So Underwood said of Hawkins, quote, "It's always nice to win on senior night, but this game to me was about Coleman Hawkins. The minutes played, wrestling at times with Hunter. We played small ball, quote, small ball with our 6'11" point guard.
6'10".
Sorry. We built a big lead with him. His IQ, his feel, his ability to switch, rip drive, do some things, did that. In my opinion, some other guys have some better lines, but Coleman Hawkins was absolutely a huge, huge factor."
I think almost anybody that played has a better line than Coleman from last night, but I don't know why he would bring that up.
Because he's very cool. He's been saying it all year. Coleman's game's not stat line.
Yeah, so you don't even have to say that. You're talking about his defense anyway. I mean,
that's true. ACG is excited about Dre Gibbs Lawhorn.
I mean, who is
like Ethan?
DGL is going to be an All-American.
Brady said Coleman's constant whining on the court makes my skin crawl.
I am fully taking
I feel that.
We take Coleman Hawkins for granted route right now, I think.
Okay.
And maybe he'll be back next year.
Is it weird that he didn't walk?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I still don't think that that's going to be a determining factor. I don't think he's going to sit there and be like, well, I'm not going to go because I didn't walk.
Well, and nobody knows about NIL money and what he's making, but I'm guessing that he could make more coming back to Illinois than he could as a late second round draft pick next year.
Probably.
So, and they apparently started some new group that's raised $1.5 million already. I don't know. So, Terrence Shannon Jr., 44 minutes, 4 of 14 from the field, 0 for 5 from 3. Maybe Brad can tell him to stop shooting threes a little bit, Brad. 13 for 16 from the free throw line, 21.7 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 2 turnovers. He was good down the stretch of the regulation and in overtime. So it was nice to see, Terrence Shannon do some things, Matthew Meyer do some things. Those guys can do some things together. Illinois can be really good. Brad talked about it in the post game about, that's what they built the team for. So Terrence Shannon said, quote, "We can be great once me and Matt get going. It opens it up for our other teammates. So when we drive, we can kick out or hit our teammates on the back doors," which I thought Terrence Shannon did good. He had a nice one to RJ. He had a nice one to Ty. RJ, of course, didn't finish. Ty did with a nice reverse layup. And he said, "But our teammates know me and Matt are our primary scorers, and we just run offense through us." I guess,
Shannon 0 for 8 last 2 games from 3 after being 4 for 5 against Northwestern.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that, like, when he's feeling it, it's really good. When he's not, it is really bad.
Airball City.
Well, he took that one contested one where he tried to get a foul. He took another deep one, which for no reason early in the shot clock. He did wear Jaden Epps' jersey during warmups. I just thought I'd throw this in there. He said, quote, "I look at Jaden like a little brother. I told my teammates, let's get this win for Jay. He ain't out like nothing bad or anything. I just wanted his presence to be there. I saw him in shoot around, and I was happy to see him." So I don't think Jaden was actually at the game, but he was at shoot around. It sounds like, it's a concussion. They're just kind of seeing what's going on from there.
So Shannon is second on the team in 3-point percentage if you take away Sky Clark, which I think you kind of have to because he hasn't been here for 2 months.
Sure.
32% is second on the team. It's not great. He's missed 97 threes, 46 for 143. So second behind Meyer, who's 36%. I think a great team that makes a deep run in this era of college basketball probably needs like a 38+% 3-point shooter. I think that would help. I mean, I'm not comparing this team to Baylor from 2 years ago, but Baylor from 2 years ago with Matthew Meyer had like 5 guys, 40%. This team is not even close to that.
Yeah. ACG says, "Not sure if you guys have gone over it already, but a huge point for this game was driving to the lane. We have to do that to be successful. Otherwise, we won't go far." Yeah, I mean, Brad kind of talked about, not shooting as many threes. The thing is, like, Michigan is not very good at guarding guys going to the lane, I guess. Teams have stopped Illinois from going to the lane, and that's when they just decide, okay, we're just going to chuck threes. They got to get it through their mind that you got to go to the basket regardless. And that's when the ball was moving, guys were moving. That's when Illinois looked their best. And they definitely have to continue to do that. They're not a good 3-point shooting team besides Matthew Meyer. Everybody else just probably shouldn't shoot him. Underwood did say something about RJ can shoot him, but other than that,
1 for 1 last night, right?
Yeah, Bergie said best conditioned athlete in the conference. Coleman is. I agree. That's impressive to play 49 minutes. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you play? 4-minute intervals in farm league?
I think it depends on what score you're going to. Plus, I usually every other possession I'll just walk down on offense. I don't, it's half court offense. I don't need to be running up and down the floor. I mean, it was kind of funny to see the contrast. I know how much more Dickinson weighs than Coleman, but Dickinson just looked dead out there 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I get, for somebody who's 6'10", 225 to play 49, sure. And also he's played a ton of minutes all year. I mean, you look at the minutes played by game for him, it's probably up there with anybody in the Big Ten at least. I mean, he's played 35 plus minutes in like a lot of games this year. So
yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah,
I mean, the good thing is that
it's unreal how many
they
minutes.
don't need to rely on him for offense. I think that's a big reason why he could play so many minutes.
That's true.
Not trying out there to score.
No. Every once in a while he'll try, but it's not overly abundant like the other two guys. ACG has a hot take. He says we'll be a top 10 3-point shooting team in the tournament. Well, I mean, if they play one game and they shoot 80% and lose, I guess.
Easily.
Zach says, shocked Michigan to clog driving lanes the way OSU did. Seems so easy to stop us when you do. That's what I'm saying. Like Michigan's not the best at playing defense. So
do they just freelance out there? I feel like it feels like that, but I don't know if that's actually true.
Yeah, I mean, they threw some zone at Illinois and stuff. But I think that the ball movement and guys moving and what Ty Rodgers can do with setting screens for other guys. I think that plays a big part in it. You saw against Ohio State how they stood around a lot. They definitely didn't do that this game. Underwood said of Terrence Shannon and all the ISOs they ran for him. Another great Brad quote. You dance with who brought you to the dance. Clearly.
What happened? Yeah.
You ever been to a dance, Ethan?
Man, I don't know. Don't really have time for that bullshit.
Jake says, if Kansas is the 1 and Illinois is the 8, which team is more worried about the
Illinois
potential game? What do you mean? We dominated them.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing with Kansas. They don't really have a big man, and Bill Self teams usually have that. Like David McCormick wasn't like the most elite center in the country last year, but he was good rim protector, and they won a national championship. So I feel like if Illinois, with how good Illinois is in the paint, I mean, maybe they could score on Kansas easily and then rely on Jalen Wilson or Grady Dick having an off game, but that's way too far ahead of ourselves. I still think Illinois could play their way into a 7 seed if they win Sunday.
Hope, right? Yeah.
And even if an 8-9, I guess, you take your chance.
What if they lose Sunday and they get to like the championship game?
Probably 7. Yeah. Because it's at Purdue. I mean, you can lose that game. Nobody's going to care. Also, this is interesting, I think that most 1, 2, or 3 seeds will be more scared of playing Illinois than Illinois would be of playing them, because there's a lot of the narrative around the country about this team is still all about, we don't know what they are. They're so talented. They might be the most talented team in the country, all this stuff. I don't know if all of that's really true at this point, but I still think that teams view them that way.
There haven't been a lot of games where you've had Matthew Meyer and Terrence Shannon Jr. having really good games. I mean, I know it was double overtime, but 21-24 from those two. I don't know. Has there been a game where they both scored 20 yet?
No, I don't know. I mean, the closest I can think of off the top of my head is Texas, but that was Shannon had 16. He didn't really do anything until overtime, and Meyer had 21.
Yeah.
You kind of have to correlate it with Meyer's games, because usually he's been scoring, overall less than Shannon all season. But Wisconsin had to be close, maybe. Nope, never mind. Shannon had 6. Okay, what the hell happened there? I'm determined to find this. I really am. Indiana, when Meyer had 24, Shannon didn't play. Minnesota, Meyer had 22, Shannon didn't play. Wouldn't have counted anyway.
You're gonna have to go back to Eastern Illinois or something.
Meyer played 16 minutes against Eastern Illinois.
I know. I'm just saying, you're gonna have to go back.
Here's a close one: Alabama A&M, Meyer 21, Shannon 18. That's damn close. That probably is the closest that I'm going to be able to get. So
that sounds right.
Yeah.
All right. RJ Melendez, 32 minutes, 3 of 6 from the field, 1 of 1 from the 3. He was perfect from the line, 5 for 5, 12 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, no turnovers from RJ. Once again, playing good defense. I thought a big play was Ty actually got credit for the rebound, but Hawkins missed the shot. RJ tapped it to Ty. Ty put it up. I thought that was a big play from RJ. He had a big posterization of Dickinson, as much as Michigan fans want to say that wasn't a posterization.
Big net grabbing as well.
He did have a nice net grab. the three that he took, he looked very comfortable. Like that's the most comfortable. Like when he took that, I felt like it was going in just because he caught it in rhythm and he shot it and just wasn't thinking. And his defense continues to be really good too. So that's one thing that RJ has continued to do is play good defense. If the offense can keep coming, they keep attacking more. I don't know if I like RJ attacking all the time because I don't think he's good unless it's kind of on a fast break, something like that. I think when the defense is set, I don't know if I like RJ attacking as much.
He was ready to hit that dunk on an alley-oop from Ty Rodgers, but they ran out of time.
Yeah.
Should have been an alley-oop. I don't know why he just passed to him. Just toss that up there, maybe get lucky.
Yeah. Dane wanted an alley-oop from Ty Rodgers too. So I don't know if they listened to Brad, but sure. Terrence Shannon said of RJ, said, quote, RJ is one of the best shooters and best wings in the country. Seen him getting out in transition, dunking the ball on Hunter, making open threes. That put a big smile on my face.
I thought this might have been an Underwood quote.
They love each other. This team loves each other. Remember when Underwood lost the whole team? It's nice
Locker
to see.
room's out of here.
One guy that did not look happy last night, Dane Danger. 17 minutes, 4 of 7 from the field. He had 8 points. I believe that his first 8 points were all within the first 8 minutes of the game. 4 rebounds, 2 steals, 1 block, 2 turnovers. They made it a point to go to him early. He had a fadeaway jump hook that was in and out. Had a nice one at the rim, had a dunk, took Dickinson to the hole one time, and then he slaps a guy, gets his 3rd foul, and you never see him again. So
no reason why Dane can't have a big summer and be really, really good next year. I still think that could be something that happens.
I mean, it sounds like they're still going to rely on him in the Purdue game. We'll get to that when we talk about
Well, I
Purdue,
think you have to.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess I understand why you took him out and never played him again. But on the other hand, I guess I don't. So,
well,
Illinois made that big run. I think that was probably a big part of it.
You can't have Coleman fouling out against Purdue. That's why they're going to use him against Purdue.
Do you know how to get Big Ten Plus for free? Yeah, pay $12.
Big Ten Plus sucks.
I don't know how to get it. I bought it for the girls' games, but I bought it for the early games too. But yeah, $12. I think it's $12. I don't know. Sincere, 22 minutes, 1 of 5, 2 points, 3 rebounds, 1 steal, 0 turnovers. I did not realize that he shot 5 times.
Surprising, yeah.
Were they all breakaway layups that he got blocked?
I think that's possible, yeah.
Yeah. So he had a huge rebound in overtime. I think it was on Dickinson's missed free throw, maybe. And he did get just absolutely murdered going to the basket again with no call. So Sincere's, he was kind of seemed fuzzy for a little bit. You know, another concussion. Brady says to get a fire stick and get it illegally. Not condoning. Luke Goody, 12 minutes, 1 of 2, 0 for 1 from 3, 2 for 2 from the line, 4 points, 4 rebounds, 1 steal. He didn't have any turnovers either. I do like Luke's tenacity on this team. He comes in, he plays hard.
Takes 4 or 5 rebounds away from his
sometimes
teammates.
He plays too hard.
Yeah,
sometimes he plays too hard and knocks it out of his own teammates' hands during rebounds. He got on the floor, got that jump ball, went to the basket and kind of chucked one up and got a foul call, got to the line. So Luke still kind of feels like he's getting his game back.
I think we should maybe talk about the Sincere concussion thing real quick because there was a lot of people talking about that on Twitter. I think the top reply that I saw from that was that Sincere gets a career-ending injury every other game from what it looks like.
Yeah,
so.
That's true. The one basket that Goody did make, I put this on here. And I put, quote, this is what I think he was thinking. Oh, shit, that landed in my hands. I better put it up. Because he hesitated like 2 or 3 seconds.
And also, would Illinois really after what happened this week with Epps, would they really have put Sincere back in without knowing that it wasn't a concussion? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
There's no way.
I think they definitely checked him out for sure.
Well, he left for a minute, right? So
yeah, I'm sure that he went through all the protocol to.
Yeah, so let's relax
right.
before we start trying to sue Illinois or something.
How do they always get? They need to start wearing helmets, I guess.
That might be the move, but then somebody's going to break a hand on a helmet or something. And
yeah,
disaster.
Brandon Lee played 2 minutes, had no stats besides running around like a giraffe that didn't know how to play defense. So.
Yeah, he's legit. Breakout player.
Yeah,
breakout. You'll be seeing him on Sunday, I'm sure. At some point, right?
Oh yeah, he's got to play. Dane's going to have 4 fouls in the first 7 minutes, and we're going to get lots of Lieb time.
I would say Lieb is one of the top 250 screeners in college basketball.
Yeah, I love the way Lieb screens on offense. And I think that, Edey is a guy that Lieb could, I'm not going to say handle.
Dominate.
But Edey's not a guy that's going to pop out and knock a 3 down or, somebody you have to worry about like that. So
I heard that BBV was going to be transferring back for this game and then going back to South Carolina.
Edey? Yeah, we could use him, I think.
Do you guys remember when Matt Painter had Jaden Ivey, Zach Edey, and Trevion Williams and didn't get to the Elite Eight and lost to 15 seed St. Peter's, who that might be the biggest size advantage in the history of a tournament. Like St. Peter's was tiny and they beat them. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
And that is why people don't trust Painter, I think, right there.
Yeah. That's why I told you Purdue would be the most vulnerable 1 seed. I don't even know if they deserve a 1 seed right now, but
I would give it to UCLA. I think the only thing
right
keeping Purdue in the 1 seed conversation is, number one, the Big Ten is better than the Pac-12, and also Purdue
they didn't lose a non-conference game.
Purdue has Marquette, West Virginia, Gonzaga, Duke, all 4 in a row in non-conference. I think that's saving them because in the Big Ten, really only impressive win is Maryland, and Maryland on the road stinks.
Do you think if Purdue played those teams now, do you think that they'd beat all of them?
No, I think Gonzaga would beat them. I think Marquette might beat them. I don't think West Virginia or Duke would beat them, though.
Yeah, I agree. Other notes and quotes. Rebounds were 46-45 Michigan, but Illinois had 12 offensive boards. So after only getting 1 in the first half the last game, I'm sure that Brad made that a point to crash the boards. I thought it was an interesting stat. I think I saw it on Twitter, and then I looked it up while I was going over things. There were only 17 assists on 61 made shots in this game. That tells you how these teams play. Yeah. Illinois with only 7 turnovers, only 18 threes. Underwood was asked if that was the focus moving forward here, which I think that's been Brad's focus the whole time, is not to shoot 29 threes. But Underwood said, quote, "Yeah, without giving out too much. And I'm really good with Matt shooting 11 of them. He's a mid to high 30s, low 40s type of guy. I still believe RJ's there. I still believe in RJ. There's no doubt about that. I want him to shoot when he's open." So green light is Matthew Meyer and RJ Melendez.
RJ 25%, 22 for 86.
He's a mid 25% guy. So. And then I pulled the Illini stats. If you're not following them on Twitter, go follow them. They put these out yesterday. Illinois is the most winningest team. Hold on. Oh, what?
Most winningest or winningest?
Most winningest. I don't know. What's that say?
Illinois is the winningest team over the last 4 years is what that should say, right?
I think it said most winning. I just took the tweet, bro.
Most winning. That doesn't really calculate for me. Double ist. Yeah, like what the hell?
I don't know. Illinois is the winningest team over the last 4 years with 55 conference wins. And Iowa is the only team over the last 4 years that has had no seasons under 500. So Illinois and Iowa, the only two teams.
Improv there from you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Did I really
Very Steve Carell-esque.
Are you okay?
You took the words there and you flipped them around instead of saying finished
I mean,
above
I don't have
500.
Do I have to read it exactly how it says?
No, there's nice improv.
Thank you. They have 4 straight 20-win seasons for Brad. So all the people that say fire Brad, shut up. Jeremy Warner asked about having 20-win seasons 4 times in a row. Brad Underwood answered, quote, consistency. Great programs have consistency. I'll be honest with you, this year's means a lot more to keep our culture. He's keeping the culture.
Yeah, this is definitely the hardest one, I think, to get there.
I agree.
Because
they had a tough non-conference schedule.
What percentage?
Couple of them.
What percentage of scoring did they lose from last season? Isn't it like 80-something percent?
86%,
yeah,
I believe is what it was.
Yeah. So if you can turn, I mean, but hey, if you look at St. Dominic and the watch party last night, Bruce Weber's first 4 seasons were better, not even close. So I guess that seals the deal right there. Should have fired Brad, huh?
That's true. They also posted that Illinois was 15-2 at home this year. They won their last 6, had a .882 winning percentage at the State Farm Center this season, which is the best home winning percentage since 05-06 when they went 15-1.
I mean, their home schedule was pretty easy. They had 2 very avoidable. They could have easily not lost to Penn State at home and Indiana, but whatever. It's kind of weird that both of their home losses were by 15 points.
Yeah,
a couple games that they weren't even in it, and then you look at the close ones where they took over down the stretch. I don't think this game is that, but Northwestern, they came back. Minnesota, they held on, even though that game shouldn't have been as close as it was. Rutgers, they took over. Nebraska, they took over. Ohio State, they took over. Michigan State, they took over. Wisconsin, they took over. I mean, those are just kind of the same exact games at home. And then remember, we're quite a ways away from Alabama A&M going on like an 18-2 run against Illinois in December.
That's true.
So, and that Alabama A&M team is 13-17, so they're not the best.
Were both home losses AM games? 11
Penn State was 11 a.m. and
so was Indiana.
Indiana was 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. It was like a Thursday.
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking Indiana at Indiana was 11 a.m. game. Yeah.
So nice try there by Brady.
That's our sponsor. Don't talk shit to our sponsor.
I wasn't. I just said nice try. It's a good attempt.
All right. Your turn. Because I didn't write this.
Well, you're the one who sent me the post. I didn't even notice that I had a response from this Kilton fella early until I looked at whatever you sent me. So I don't really understand, like in this day and age, if you're going to pretend to lead anything or be a leader of anything, you got to be able to take the heat. I mean, come on. You got to be able to handle things.
Yeah. One of the accounts that I follow on Twitter said that the Orange Crush reached out to him and asked him to remove a post that he made.
God, come on.
Yeah. So, and then, Ethan had to go after the Crush. Old Kilton said that. What did he say to you?
Okay, so here's what happened. Okay,
tell
number one,
people what happened.
Number one, the war with the Crush is far from over at this point.
I love that they said that your whole account is dedicated.
That makes no sense. I don't even know who said that. Yeah. And I like how Kilton's got his little army of college douchebag kids liking all of his tweets. Because if you look at the likes of those tweets, it's all those little preppy douchebags that go to Illinois.
Of course.
So the Barstool Illini tweeted, thanks to the Nuggets, and tagged Hunter Dickinson. By the way, Terrence Shannon was on Round Ball with Dickinson yesterday. So what the hell is he going on there but not here? And Dickinson was like, yeah, we're going to try to take away his left hand. That's what everybody does, though. So
I loved the video that they were sharing that he literally looked like he was crying because they haven't beat us. So
what can you do? So they said, thanks for the Nuggets. And I said, this is all the Orange Crush cares about, sick. And also, I don't even remember tweeting that. Like, I think I might have been hacked there. I really don't. Because that was during the game. I don't remember tweeting anything during the game. But it was kind of a joke. Like I said, sick at the end. Like, I'm not being that serious. And this guy, you are the worst, period. Truly, is this Kilton guy who claims to be some sort of leader. And his little minions, 10 likes. This guy, Illini 23, Illini 21, Illini senior, like all these guys that go to Illinois liking these tweets. That's funny.
They're all Orange Crush members, obviously.
Well, yeah. Sorry. Well, no shit. This Danger SZN guy, by the way, Danger is not going to be your friend. You don't have to make your name or your Twitter name his name. That's kind of creepy. He said, quote, this is great English, quote, bro dedicated his whole account to hating on Crush LMAO, which is like, I think I have, let's see. Okay, so this is a podcast account. It's not my account. It's not my personal account. I have 7,500 tweets on there. I would bet like 20 of them are about the Crush, maybe less.
And it all started this year.
Yeah.
So.
And then I responded to him saying that I was the worst, and I said, "No, you are!" Exclamation point.
And very adult of you.
It was a joke, obviously. I mean, this guy's taking everything so serious. He wants people to take things down on Twitter. How big of a pansy do you have to be to do that? What are you, a politician? What do you think? You're some sort of real leader? You lead a student section that has completely fallen apart in terms of how good they are, how relevant they are, how much people like them, to where I think a lot of the Illini fan base probably agrees with me with where the Orange Crush.
Well, that's I sent it to my buddies, of course, and my buddies said, "Shouldn't you guys like be like in cahoots with the Orange? Shouldn't you like them?" And I said, "I said this is Ethan's thing." Well, I said, but it's funny because he's not the only one that thinks this. I mean, there's a contention out there that thinks that the Orange Crush is not any good. So
also this Kilton dipshit, whenever the @witty remarks is the one that you sent me, the Boys and Girls Club for Otters. Yeah. Whenever he said, if you're being a tool or whatever, or no, he said the tweet that he said was something about being a tool, right?
Yeah.
If you want to flip off Juwan Howard repeatedly while wearing a Muck Fishigan shirt.
Yeah.
From seats you clearly made an effort to get. I'm not here to kink shame. It's kind of weird to be upset about being seen. And then this killed guy just being a tool, question mark. Come on, man. Seems highly extreme. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I mean, if you're standing behind Juwan Howard in a Muck Fishigan shirt and you're throwing him the double birds and you get caught on TV and somebody wants to post it on Twitter, don't do it in the first place.
It's 2023 and this guy's mad about the word tool.
But I might not get a job in 2 years, sir.
God. And then you look at the responses here. David Dudley, probably a burner account, but he has actually probably not, just some old guy that probably doesn't tweet very much. He's been on Twitter for 11 years. No way this is a burner. Seriously, that's really Bush League by the Orange Crush. You guys used to be fun. Great way to put it. What are we doing here? Okay, what are we doing? It's just it's insane how soft all of this is.
2023, dude. Everybody's soft.
And if that's rubbing off on the Orange Crush, we are screwed. And they should let me lead. Let me lead the way.
They need to bring you in for a game. Show them how it's done.
I mean, I wanted to offer this Kilton guy to come on the podcast, but he's probably in like, some sort of bullshit class right now that he's pretending to be in. So
had some good interviews when they pretended to be the Boys and Girls Club. So
I mean, just insane. It's like you're never gonna fix anything. It's like so representative of the people that claim to be in my generation, where if you get criticized or somebody says you're not doing something right you just instantly turn it back on them.
Yeah.
And then you act like, well, why are you saying this about me? Like, instead of actually like going through adversity or taking things and trying to improve, which I think it's something that I would love to do when it comes to like the small things. Like if something minor happens and then somebody criticizes me, it's like, okay, F you, shut up. If it's small, but this is a big thing. This is the Orange Crush.
Just started spamming their Gmail. On all the you need to be like 7 minutes left. Illinois was up 9, now up 7. Arms crossed. Orange Crush. Do better.
Good. I mean, that's something that's not off the table, certainly. And I was trying to not go after the Orange Crush on Twitter as much because I do like Zane Bando a lot. He used to be a member of the Orange Crush, I believe. And
he block you?
maybe if he unfollowed, then I'm done protecting myself from going after them. I'll say that.
Yeah.
No, he still follows the account. I just think it's ridiculous what this student section has become, especially when you look at some of the actual great ones around the country. I think this one could do some things to improve, and I think one thing that would help would be take a lesson out of Matthew Meyer's book and drink a shit ton of Monsters before the game. That'll get you going.
That's right.
Instead of taking little criticism like the word tool, like, oh, this guy got called it. Like, are you kidding me? You're flipping off Juwan Howard, but then if somebody calls you a tool, it's like, oh, okay, can we take this down? I don't think that this is not a good look for Orange Crush, even though the Orange Crush sucks.
ACG says the Orange Crush died when the Chief left.
I think there's something to that.
That's
I think that there's
true.
some sort of correlation there. I also think a huge part of it, I talked about it for a while, especially with the arena as a whole, is like the renovations that they've made have hurt like if you look at Purdue and you'll see it on Sunday, Purdue just feels so much tighter and like close, and it can get a lot louder than I think what we see.
Yeah, apparently it was good last night.
Well, I'm sure.
My thing
yeah.
is that like it's good in spurts and not good, all the time when it probably should be, but it is what it is. Yeah, we're 50 minutes in. Let's get to Brad's postgame and on to Purdue.
Well, this Kilton guy is the worst. That's just what I want to throw in there. This guy, if he wants to come on the podcast, I would love to talk to him. Love to have a conversation about, maybe some tweaks that we can make.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe you can give him a little pointer or something. So,
well, I'm not going to act like I'm completely credentialed here to know what to do, but I think it's pretty easy.
I'm sure you ran what'd you guys call yourself in high school?
I usually just sat there and watched the game.
Okay. Well, you're a terrible fan. All right.
I'm a ball head. Analyzing the ball.
Underwood opened up the post game with let's talk Monster. We good with that? No, let's not. Okay.
Hilarious. Thank you.
Kobe
thought that I was doing stand-up comedy last night. Check Brad out.
He said Kobe has turned into a pro. Hunter seems like he has been here a long time. This is a very good basketball team. We had some heavy hearts, very challenging couple of days, mentally and emotionally, with the situation that happened to Jaden. He never ventured very far from our thoughts. We were relieved to see it was only a concussion. He then said, proud of our guys, falling 7 down in OT with 1:40 to go. A little maturity in that. Very easy to just say, yeah, we blew it. It's the craziness of this team. I use that term in a really positive way, but it's their never die attitude and their ability. I feel like they've died a few games this year, but it is what it is.
Ohio State died.
Yeah. And then the last one I have here, he was talking about having Shannon and Meyer going at the same time. He said, quote, we built this team with that in mind for March. When things get really, really hard, I've learned a valuable lesson early on when I was at K-State. You better have somebody when the game is on the line that can go get you a bucket. Those guys can both do that. I like that aspect.
I think what he means with Shannon is you need a guy who can get to the free throw line, and then some games he'll make shots, but other games you just get to the line.
How about Jeff Alexander's timeout to run ISO ball? What'd you think of that?
He was showing Idaho what he's going to bring to the table when they hire him as their head coach, and I hope that they were watching.
Yep. So
get him one guy, and he'll take the league over.
Yeah.
ISO.
Two good things out of this game. You beat Michigan. Illinois wins. Illinois wins, and Michigan's maybe in IT bound.
Well, we'll see. A lot of time left.
A lot of game left. So.
Last 6 games, the Jawan versus Brad games. Illinois beat Michigan 71-62, and Michigan was ranked 5th. Illinois beat Michigan 64-62 at Michigan when Illinois was ranked 21st. Was that the IO game winner game? I feel like Illinois wasn't
your
ranked.
Your memory's better than mine, dude.
Like way better. I think there's a reason for that.
A million times better.
Illinois beat Michigan 76.
It's the Prilosec.
Sure. Illinois beat Michigan 76-53 without IO when Illinois was ranked 4th and Michigan was 2nd. Illinois beat Michigan 68-53 last season in the first matchup, and then they beat them 93-85 in the second matchup at Michigan when Illinois was ranked 15th. and then 91-87 double overtime. And like I said, two of Illinois' best offensive output games against weaker opponents in the against good opponents in the Big Ten have been Michigan the last 2 seasons. This one was double overtime, and they didn't score that much going into overtime. They had 21 points, so 70 in regulation. So I guess you could kind of throw that factor in there. But last season they scored a ton against them. So apparently Illinois' offense, to be able to score this many points in the Big Ten, even though this was double overtime, you need to be playing Michigan because 93 last season, 91 this season. So I don't know. I will say this. Speaking of Michigan and a guy who played decent against Michigan last year, Andre Curbelo, I did stumble upon his tape from 2 years ago with Illinois, and I watched some stuff, and I was like, God, how the hell is this guy not an All-American in his 3rd year right now at Illinois? It's insane what happened in year 2. We don't have to get into all that. It's just something that I saw the other day.
Yeah, I agree.
He was so good freshman year, like unbelievably good, and it's just
everybody had high hopes.
What can you do? He'll be playing at Idaho for Jeff Alexander next year. All right. Illinois regular season finale at Purdue. I don't really know how many major seniors Purdue has. So, I mean, is Gillis a senior? I think he's a junior.
Frost?
First?
Nope. Actually, Frost is a senior. I don't know who that guy is. David Jenkins Jr.
Yeah, he's a Utah transfer, so it's his,
And that's it.
Yeah, so, all right, maybe Edie will go through.
No shot.
He's going to get drafted probably.
I don't think he goes.
I wouldn't if I were him.
Why is everybody talking like Dickinson's gone, by the way?
I think Dickinson's going to stay. I mean, he said he was hoping it wasn't his last game in Ann Arbor against Wisconsin. I feel like Dickinson
that'd be his choice, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's just saying, I hope, he doesn't want to, he's staying, I think is what that means. Anyway.
Okay.
So he'll eventually beat Illinois probably next year, maybe. Maybe what if he transfers?
They might play 2 next year though.
What if he transfers to Illinois? They played 2 last year. Didn't matter.
I know.
15-point win, 8-point win. What's up? Suck on that.
We own you, Dickinson.
He knows it. Illinois 20-10, 11-8 in the Big Ten. Purdue 25-5, 14-5 in the Big Ten. They are ranked 5th, right? I just guessed on their ranking. 5th or 6th, maybe.
Still 5th, I believe.
11:30 a.m. Sunday on Fox. I think my favorite part about the last day of the season is that we always get Memphis and Houston on CBS for some reason every year. So that'll be a good time for everybody, I'm sure. I think Houston probably beats them by 52 points, but probably not, though. It'll probably be closer. Purdue's clinched the Big Ten regular season title, so thank God that talk is over for Illinois. They won at Wisconsin on Thursday. Last 3 seasons between these two teams, they played 5 games. Illinois is 3-2, but Illinois lost both last year. Purdue is the only team in the Big Ten that's really had an elite season. You look at their record, 14-5. Nobody in the Big Ten, like 11-8 feels wildly different from 14-5, 3 games. But are they an elite tournament threat? I think that remains to be seen.
Man, I don't know.
They're really young. They are really young. And the guys on their team that are old or in their second year, other than Edie, are role guys, make some shots, play some defense, glue guy types with First and Morton and Gillis. So there's definitely concerns going into the tournament, but I guess you never really know. Sometimes things just are the opposite of what you expect. Like going into the tournament last year, you look at North Carolina, you're like, that team maybe beats Baylor in round 2 if they get through Marquette, but they are not very good. They're not going to go much further. It was the opposite. Kentucky going to the tournament, everyone thought was one of the top threats for the national championship, loses in round 1 to St. Peter's. John Calipari, lucky that I don't even think Calipari had the worst loss in the tournament last year. I think it was Purdue's loss to St. Peter's, like I said earlier. So luckily for Calipari.
And Wisconsin kind of gave them everything they wanted last night. Steven Crowell, who's I wouldn't consider him
trash. No, he's okay.
Any better than what Danger could be?
No, he's better than Danger.
I mean, but Edie only had 17 last night, 19 rebounds, but 17 points.
He still have 30 and 30 against Illinois.
And I know Klesmet was having like the game of his life, but how do you not give Chucky Hepburn the ball to make the final shot? Killing me.
Well, yeah, Wisconsin, Michigan, both backs against the wall last night, losing. Tough. Yeah. Obviously, I think a harder game for Michigan than Wisconsin. I know Purdue's better than Illinois, but Michigan going on the road in a place where they haven't beaten Illinois in forever. Yeah. Brad owns Juwan. Juwan made sure to give absolutely zero credit to the Illini last night. That's fine. I actually didn't watch the video, but that's what people were saying. So I
heard he blamed the refs.
Well, he said something about the inconsistent calls on both sides, which is like every single game. So whatever. I don't think he was really using that as a way to blame them, but there were some misses. I mean, the goaltending on Coleman was horrific, and RJ grabbing the net, that's probably something you got to call.
Yeah.
But then let's flip it right back around. They call the flop on Meyer, and then they didn't call a flop on Dickinson. So
yeah, and I mean, they didn't call the clean block, and Dickinson probably touched one in the cylinder, if not two. So
yeah, and also the free throws were only Illinois was only plus 10 in free throws, and that was like 4 or 5 at the end where Michigan was fouling. So that's not that bad. You want to look at bad, you look at Illinois Northwestern in January. Juwan.
That's true. I put this down. Matthew Meyer said this after the game, giving away, what they're going to do against Purdue for some reason. He said, quote, probably the best big man in the country. So we're going to have to double. And then he kind of caught himself and said, potentially we'll see with Dane if we have to or not. We stopped doubling after a little bit against Michigan because not everybody was on the same page, but we are going to work on that a lot this weekend. So we will be better. So, expect Dane to try to handle Edie and then super double.
Prone to turning the ball over.
Yeah,
he's a good passer, but he can turn it over.
Dickinson does that too. I mean, I feel like they're kind of the same people except 174, 171.
Yeah, Dickinson had 5 turnovers last night.
Yeah,
probably could have been more. I think he traveled at least a couple times. But I think the big difference between Michigan and Purdue is that Edie doesn't really have like a side like star. Like I think Buffkin is a star, and I think Jett Howard is a lottery pick, by a top 12 pick.
Yeah,
like firm lottery pick. But other than that, they have really nobody to rely on. Like Terrace Reed's not going to score a ton. Will Cheddar's not going to do that. Terrence Williams is pretty much Ty Rodgers, at least where Ty Rodgers is at in his career. Now I think Ty Rodgers has the higher upside between the two, but Terrence Williams is a great offensive rebounder. And they have Will Baker couldn't make anything last night, just airballed a great look. And I understand the argument, and I was on that page. I'm not a Michigan guy, obviously, but I was on the same page as give the ball to Buffkin and let him shoot. And if Jett Howard was out there, I'm sure Juwan would have given the ball to him, which is what he does every single time. Every single late game situation is like Jett try to make a Hail Mary 3, and if you don't make it, maybe you'll get fouled. But Purdue is like a lot of role players around Edie. Like I think Smith and Lawyer is a good backcourt, but they're not like guys that can go out and get you 20 like Howard and Buffkin can, along with Dickinson. Yeah. But I think Purdue just has way more scoring depth than Michigan does. I think that's the big difference. So you can't let Edie just get 30 in this game because he's Edie, You could do that against Michigan. Michigan had a ton, like almost all their points from 3 guys.
Yeah.
They had 18 points outside of those 3 guys last night, and Jett Howard only had 15. So it's a hard way to win. Purdue projected lineup, they've been switching it up a little bit lately. You got Braden Smith, the guard at the point guard position, 6 foot, 40% from 3 on the season. Fletcher Lawyer, another guard, 6'4" freshman, 14 points against Indiana, 13 against Wisconsin. And then you got guard Brandon Newman, who's been there for a while. His first start of the season was against Wisconsin last night, so we'll see if he starts again. Mason Gillis, 6'6", 23 points in the last 5 games, starting at the 4. I'll get into him later. Zach Edey, 7'4", likely National Player of the Year, 17 points, 19 boards against Wisconsin. And then you also had Caleb First and Ethan Morton both taken out of the lineup against Wisconsin in favor of Newman and Gillis. So we'll see if those changes hold. Newman and Gillis didn't really do much against Wisconsin, so we'll see what Painter does with his lineup there.
Yeah, those seems like guys that can be pretty interchangeable. The big thing is how are the refs going to handle this game? That's kind of big. The thing against Edie, do they let him get pummeled like he did against Northwestern, or are they going to call stuff? And if those guards around him are going to make threes, so you gotta stop two different things here. Underwood's a big let one guy get his. Probably don't want, Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer getting hot from three, along with the other guards that can shoot. So I think that it's a lot to do with how this game gets handled. So, Steve, what's going on? Thanks for stopping by.
You look at Purdue's worst performance on their home floor this season was against Indiana, and that was a lot of Indiana limiting those guys a little bit. Purdue was 5 for 23 from three. Smith was 0 for 3. Lawyer was 2 for 5, which you can live with. First was 0 for 2. Newman was 2 for 5. Gillis and Jenkins 0 for 2. And then you need a guy to go off, I think, if you're Illinois. You need I'm not saying Hood Schifino 35 and 7 like he did against Purdue, but you need Shannon for 25. You need Meyer to make some shots.
Yeah.
You need Danger to score. You need probably Ty Rodgers to get 8 points. And then I think you got to think RJ is going to have some key looks, as will Luke Goody. So I don't really think there's one formula to beating them. I think you do have to get lucky a little bit too, especially when you're on the road there.
Right.
What kind of Edie you're going to be facing and how you're going to defend them. I don't think that they're going to – if Illinois tried to do what Northwestern did, they're not going to let them get away with that at Mackey. So that's just, the way it is. From a metrics perspective, Ken Palm adjusted offense, Illinois 70th, so pretty good. Purdue is 11th. Adjusted defense, Illinois 27th, Purdue 20th. Tempo, Illinois 74th, Purdue 321. So I like to be a half-court offense with the freshman running the show there. Some key differences here. 2-point percentage, Illinois 19th, and Purdue's 32nd. So Illinois with the advantage there. 3-point percentage, surprising that Purdue's 249th in the country. Probably because they have so many guys that do it, and then some of them are probably not having the best of seasons. Let me see if I can prove that. David Jenkins is shooting 30. First is shooting 31. And Newman's 31. So they're pretty similar to Illinois in that regard, except they have two guys with Gillis and Smith that are both 38 plus. Illinois only has one guy that's close to that, and that's Meyer. You also have the defensive effective field goal percentage number. Illinois is 23rd. Purdue is 32nd. So Illinois with a lot of advantages in spots that you wouldn't expect, I think. Another one is Illinois is 11th in the country in block percentage, and Purdue is 100th. So pretty big difference there. Let's see. Home court advantage for Purdue is 36th in the country, according to Ken Palm, at 3.8. I don't know what that measures, but do with that number what you will. Illinois, for reference, is 142nd, so that's not great. 142nd in the country in home court advantage when you have about 150 schools that don't even really have a home court, and if they do, it's like a high school gym. That's tough. That's your Orange Crush stat of the day right there, guys. Hey, Kilton, figure it out.
True.
Players to watch.
Steve says they need to attack Edie and not shy away, make the refs call it. I agree. You got to go at Edie. And Eddie. one of the guys that I think we're going to see how well he does against attacking the basket with a big 7'4" monster in the paint. TJ Shannon is my player to watch for Illinois. You talked about somebody has to have a game. I don't know if it can be Terrence Shannon Jr. just because how much he relies on going to the basket. Don't know if he's going to be able to do that this game. If he can knock down some threes and kind of bring guys out, that's going to help. So I'm interested to see how good he does at getting to the basket against Purdue. My guy for Purdue is Fletcher Lawyer, who was Luke Goody's teammate back in Fort Wayne, Indiana, or wherever they were at. So nice little reunion for them. Unlike Goody, though, Fletcher Lawyer has been playing a lot of minutes as a freshman. And if he gets going from three, he can be tough. He shot 161 of those this year, and he's shooting about 34% clip. So I think this is more about, again, letting Edie get his, stop the other guys from beating you. So,
which won't work, but we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
Hasn't worked, pretty much, would be
there you go.
Would be the thoughts of a lot of people. How did Spieth miss that putt? Sorry. Man, that hurts. Coleman Hawkins is my player to watch. For the Illini, he's going to have spots where he's guarding Edie, so see if he can handle it the same way that he handled Dickinson in spots, which is you're going to give up some points, so you got to let it happen.
Yeah.
And maybe sell an elbow or two if you're Coleman.
Yeah, and I think the key against Edie is getting him away from the basket a little bit too, making sure his entry passes aren't super deep. So,
yeah. Then for Purdue, it is Mason Gillis, who was a 41% three-point shooter last season. He's at 37% this season. Hasn't made a three since they played Northwestern on February 12th. So probably going to make like 6 of them in this game. And now we have predictions.
Predictions. I don't think Illinois is going to pull it out at Purdue. I think they're going to have a hard time scoring. Again, getting to the lane. They don't have enough three-point shooters to handle a team like Purdue. I got Purdue 65, Illinois 60.
Well, I'm kind of stuck here because my upset pick of the week was first I had Arkansas over Tennessee. That was a loss.
Yeah.
So that puts me at 2-8. Then I had Michigan over Illinois. That's a loss, 2-9. And now I had Illinois over Purdue. So I have to stick with that here. And I knew that you were going to hold me to that standard.
That's right.
Standard must be upheld. Unlike the Orange Crush, we care about standards here. 71-66 Illinois over Purdue.
ILL, baby.
And
I love that I love how like the whole thing, you're like, they can't do that. They won't be able to do that. They won't do that. And then you pick them to win. So
I had to.
Brady said Spieth's T-ball on 18 was as bad as he's ever seen on TV.
Yeah, it's just to close it out with something that has nothing to do with Illinois, which I brought up, obviously. But it's
Perfect.
it's so Spieth to be one shot off the lead on Friday, and then you just make a terrible bogey on the 18th. And then he has like 20 feet for par, and it like went over the hole. It's just so Spieth. So there you go.
Yeah.
There's some weird looking mid-major coaches, by the way. I've been watching games today. Some of these coaches look weird. It's not a shot. I mean, I would look weird on a sideline too.
That's true. That's true.
It's interesting stuff.
Nothing to lose Sunday though. It's kind of the big takeaway.
Yeah.
Play a competitive game. Maybe
don't lose by 40.
Yeah.
Don't score 37 points like Purdue did against Illinois at Mackey 3 years ago.
Don't get embarrassed is the biggest thing.
And I don't think that this team is not a team that gets embarrassed by good teams. They get embarrassed by teams that might not make the tournament.
Yeah.
Or a team that gets hot like Indiana.
Yeah, they're pretty good at playing up to their competition when they need to. And Illinois can still fall anywhere between like 2 and 9 right now in the Big Ten, which is insane. So, but yeah.
There's a scenario where Illinois plays, I think, Indiana in the first round of the Big Ten tournament. I think there's a scenario there where they're the 8-9. I think a lot would have to happen, though.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that will be based on if Indiana beats
Depends
Michigan.
on who else wins, right?
If Indiana beats Michigan on Sunday, then that would pretty much make Michigan done. But a lot of people are saying Michigan needs to beat Indiana, then win one in the Big Ten tournament. There's no way that's enough. Like, their resume sucks.
Yeah. Speaking of backs against the wall, Rutgers going down to Minnesota at the rack. Ouch.
Rutgers has losses to Temple, Seton Hall, and Minnesota and Nebraska now. So they are extremely lucky that they kind of owned a narrative that they should be a tournament team all season because this team sucks. This team's not good.
Yeah.
And there you go. Cam Spencer's defense at the end of that game, just a blow by with Battle not even trying and then just terrible. But what can you do? At least it wasn't Illinois that got buzzard beated on yesterday because that could have happened. And
yeah, I think you said it every time Michigan had the ball. So
just making sure
my wife was
very
impressed with your French at the end of the game too. So good work.
Yeah, nice try, everybody. All right. I guess that's the show, the episode.
That'll do it.
We'll be back.
Preview the Big Ten tournament. Let's figure that out, huh?
Yeah, probably do that Monday or Tuesday and see when Illinois is playing. We will be live on this YouTube and Twitter and Facebook at some point next week, watching some college hoops. So if people want to join us for that, come on the stream too. If Kilton wants to come out and talk some Orange Crush, that would be great.
Yeah.
And we will we'll see everybody next time. And Illinois, just keep it close.
Be competitive.